First, we want to talk about when you can retire on an immediate annuity, full annuity. So for FERS employees, you have this MRA, right? Minimum retirement age. So I have on the screen here your age, your year of birth, and when you might be able to retire. So somewhere between 55 and 56, if you have your time in, you can go out on an immediate annuity. The FERS then are eligible with MRA as long as you have 30 years of service. So again, 55, 56, 57, with 30 years of service, you can go out on that immediate annuity. When you hit age 60, you can go out with 20 years of service, or when you hit 62, you only need 5 years of service to retire on an immediate annuity. Now, for special provisions on the call, you at age 50 need 20 years of service, and you can retire at any age when you have 25 years of service. Both of these are for FERS. CSRs on the line, we have those same information for you on our website. Now, there is one other option. FERS have an MRA plus 10. Again, you hit that minimum retirement age, 55 to 57, and then you have at least 10 years of service, but not your full 30 years. In that case, you can take a reduction for every year that you're under age 62. You can retire on immediate annuity, keep your benefits, your health and life insurance if appropriate, and leave early, but you just won't leave with a full check. So let's go through the elements that make your annuity. First, you have your high three, right? So your high three is your highest 36 consecutive months of pay. Your highest 36 consecutive months of pay. And included in that high three are your regular pay and your locality pay, right? So just to demonstrate that, let's look at what that looks like on your pay stub. I know pay stubs all look different, but if you humor me with this one, this box 7 has basic pay plus that locality pay to get the adjusted basic pay. So when we're talking about your high three, we're looking primarily at this number. Now again, special provisions, certain other areas of the federal government may have some additional pieces of the pie, but we want to make sure we understand basic pay is including locality pay for that discussion. And then we have other issues around how to calculate your annuity, and that has to do with your credit for non-deduction service or your credit for refunded service. If you're not sure of your service history, then again, get these documents, download them, and there are some other videos on YouTube as well as some blogs we've written at retireinstitute.com that can help you through some of these complications. I will share one just to give you a taste of what we mean by making sure that you understand your SCD for retirement purposes. Again, service computation date for retirement purposes. Let's say you had some military time that was post 1956. As long as you pay the deposit for that military time, you will get retirement eligibility and annuity computation. It will actually change your SCD for retirement purposes if you make that deposit. Whereas if you don't pay it, you don't get it. Should everyone make a deposit for military? Well, it depends. If you're retired military, probably not. If you serve something less than what would get you to retirement, then a lot of times it's a good deal. For example, a 45-year-old with 10 years military who began service in 02, retiring at age 60, their monthly amount without the break-even deposit, what would their annuity be? It'd be $1,600. If they make their deposit, they buy that 10 years military into the FERS system, they're now going to get $2,400 a month. So after being retired for a year and 7 months, they're actually break even. So paying that deposit would make sense for a lot of folks. The same issues are part of temp time when you started working. If you left the government and took the money from the FERS system or CSR system, came back, you want to make a redeposit, all those issues would come into play to determine exactly what your service history is. In this case, making that $13,000 deposit make good sense financially. So not only do we need to know your high three, we were looking at box 7 a minute ago, now we're looking at box 11, which is your SCD for leave purposes. Now, understand, again, we have 2 SCDs, right? We have the SCD that you're getting your leave credit for, and then you have an SCD that's for retirement purposes. Are you sure you know the difference between the two? If the dates are different, you've got them. So check that. If they're the same date, if this SCD is the day that you started working full-time for the government and you've been full-time ever since that day, then that should mean that those dates match, and you can use the SCD for leave as also your SCD for retirement. If there's been any change in your service, or again, if you had any military or part-time work or break in service, then be careful that SCD for leave purposes may not match the SCD for retirement. You've got to get that right. Again, thank you for allowing me to spend some time to build up to where we're going, because if you don't have these details right, then the end won't be what you want to know. What is it? Garbage in, garbage out. So we're trying to make sure we put good information in. So let's talk about how to calculate your pension. So you have your high 3. Again, we said that's the highest 36 consecutive months. Notice I didn't say your last 36, your highest 36. I have known federal employees that went to work somewhere in their latter part of their career, got their high 3 up by running some other place, a higher end office, maybe a higher locality pay, and then they came back to some place where there was less locality pay to be had, and so their high 3 wasn't their last 36. It was something earlier in their career. So in this case, let's assume you have a $100,000 high 3, 30 years of service, and let's say you're age 60. That'll be real important in just a few moments here as we talk about the special retirement supplement. In that case, your pension would be $30,000. So for a FERS employee, this part of the calculation is fairly easy, isn't it? You take your pay times your years of service, because you get 1% for every year of service if you're age 60. Again, when you get over 62, the numbers change. Stay with me. Then your pension is an easy calc of $30,000. You get to keep that $30,000 as your gross pension, and it doesn't change, no COLAs, until you hit age 62, and then some COLAs begin to apply. Okay, so now let's briefly, I want to kind of change tracks for just a moment and talk about survivor benefits while employed. Most of what we talk about is when you retire, but just because we have an audience that needs to understand this element, let's just look at 4 quick slides around the survivor benefit while employed, and then we'll turn to talking about the survivor benefit when you retire and what the options are. If you passed away while employed as a federal worker and you've had at least 18 months of service and you've been married for 9 months, little trick, they don't have to be 9 months in a row. You could be married 3 months to the same person 3 different times. That would work the way the law is written. You then would be entitled to, notice at the bottom of this screen, 50% of your final pay, typically that's the number, plus a lump sum of $32,000. So again, if you're making $100,000 a year, that would be about an $82,000 death benefit. This isn't FEGLI, this is just the FERS benefit you get paid out, or your heirs get paid out if you were to pass away while employed. Let's fast forward, you've got 10 years of service in, then you would not only qualify for that lump sum as a FERS, your family would, again, you'd be passed away, so you wouldn't get any of this benefit, right? But your family would get that lump sum, and notice this last line, 50% of your basic annuity at your death. So there would be an ongoing income stream for your heirs if you were to pass away while employed. Same rules apply here. And then lastly, minor children can get benefits while you're employed. Benefits can continue until age 22 if they're a full-time student. And then the benefits can be, they even have the dollar amounts for those, but take note that these benefits are offset dollar for dollar against any Social Security benefit that the children get. So I know that was quick and brief, but for those of you that need to understand the survivor benefit that's attached to your FERS system while you're still employed, there it is. Why do we do that? One, this is somewhat insurance, is it not? You pass away, someone gets a benefit, that's insurance. So we see this as part of your plan. Be careful that you don't have a lot of other life insurance and this, and you're worth too much dead, right? We don't want that. So stick with it, understand these elements.